Hello, everyone. Welcome, Shadows of the Galaxy, to episode 39. The episode number is one more than the number of spoilers in the episode. What's that? Did the record get beaten again? We went from 27, and they decided to add 11 more cards on top of that. We have 38 spoilers to get through this week, and we're just going to go into it.
At least some of them will be quick. Like the bases. Look at them. All right, 36 to go.
Oh, also, one interesting thing. There are no rare bases this set. That
Very
was confirmed
interesting,
on
actually.
stream. That's pretty cool. They said that there'll be some sets with them, some sets without them. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, I think that's a
Also,
really good idea. We have the 4 there, and just pick your art.
We have a little special thing. Another video coming out this week. Coming out on Thursday.
An off-timed video,
Coming out on,
but not the one you think.
Coming out on Thursday, Australian Eastern Standard Time, but Wednesday for our American viewers. So tune into that if you just want to get some cool stuff. So that's what we're going to talk about for now, because we genuinely do not have the time to go further into that.
No, be quiet. We must talk about Jango Fett.
And last week was the week of Bosk. And as we said, that week we were like, can you imagine? Because there's still one more day of spoilers. Surely they're not going to release anything mind-boggling for Bosk. And they certainly released the best card yet for Bosk.
Yep, absolutely. This is Jango Fett. This is a 4-cost
Boba's
aggression
dad.
villainy. It lets you bring Fett's Fire Spray in untapped.
It does.
In case-
It does. Actually, it does.
I know
it does. This is a 4-cost aggression villainy, 3/6 Underworld Bounty Hunter. He's got text, James.
Oh, he certainly has some text.
Tell me what he does.
All right, let me tell you what he has. We're going to have our phones because there's 36 spoilers.
Wow. Like, why? But
38
also,
including those
thank
2 bases that we've
you.
shown.
Thank you so much for the spoilers. Or 38 including the bases.
That's what I said.
Ah.
Ha, fool.
Fly, you fool.
Anyway, wrong franchise.
Oh, sorry. I get confused.
When attacking a unit with bounty, I never do that. This unit gets +3/+0 in case
In a boss
overwhelm.
deck, it's a 4-cost 6/6 with Overwhelm. Well, it certainly couldn't get better than
Couldn't
that.
get better than that. When this unit attacks and defeats a unit, draw a card.
Oh my god!
Just grab a
It's a
card.
better Callus.
Just grab a card.
It's a better Callus.
Doesn't have ambush.
It doesn't have ambush and it's not neutral,
And it's 1 cost less.
but it's 1 cost less. You're never gonna not have bounty in this. If you're gonna, the boss deck that I've been toying with is green, so you've got ECL. Just ECL him in. Just ambush him into the
Just do
unit.
it.
You put the 2 cost. There's a price on your head. I'm gonna pay for. I'm gonna flip Bosk, pay for, ambush this in, draw a card, ramp 2. And not even just Bosk. This card works so good in Grand Inquisitor because you can put Resilient on him. You can put the 1-cost neutral grey bounty that we've recently got on one of your opponent's units. Swing Django into it, kill it, draw a card, buff 2 of your other units with experience counters, ping him, untap him, swing again, kill another unit, draw another card.
Yeah,
This is such a... GI loves this set.
Yeah, and even if you're just running Vader, for instance, then you're just sitting here, you're going, awesome, Ruthlessness onto him. All right, I'm going to put the Guild Target, is it? The red
Guild
bounty?
Target. Guild Target is the red one where you attack someone,
And
4
then I'm
damage
going to
to
swing.
base.
I'm going to swing Django, doing 4 overwhelm, plus the 2 from Ruthlessness,
Yeah.
plus the 3 from,
Yep,
Like-
and then drawing a card.
and then drawing a card. Like,
Django's
Crazy.
really good. Django's for sure a 5 out of 5, and he's a rare.
yeah, if this was a legendary, we'd be like, man, legendary. Maybe they're doing too much. Like, they're making the legendaries too powerful. There's gonna be such cheat. It's a rare. It looks good.
That's such a cool card. Next up,
I don't say it looks good enough because they all look so.
they all look good, but this looks good. Definitely a 5 out of 5. Django is for sure a 5 out of 5. Next up, we've got Modded Cohort. This is an interesting card. That's the Vesper guys from Book of Boba, the little slow boys. Funnily enough, it's a 4-cost 2/4 hero unit with ambush and raid 2. Naturally, makes sense. This unit is very clearly designed to synergize with the Boba deck, the green Boba deck of the set. Yeah. It's like a different escort skiff. It's like escort skiff adjacent.
Yeah, exactly. It has a very similar thing.
It's always got ambush, which is nice, but it's got less when you trade back into it.
Remember that one game where we both played escort skiff and
Tapped.
neither of us
That was
ambushed?
fun. But this card is It's interesting. It's definitely, like, I can see what they were going for. It's definitely designed for the Boba deck. I don't know if I personally would find a use for it. I mean,
I think it definitely has its uses.
Yeah.
There's a reason we put Escort Skiff in those kind of decks.
I wouldn't mind putting this into Boba. Like, I don't think this is a bad card to just run in that Boba Fett deck because it becomes a 3. It ambushes actually for 5 when you've got Boba out, which is actually pretty great. So, I think this is a fine card. I give it 2 out of 5.
We know a 5/4 ambush isn't bad with the
with the specified with the tap ability or the leader flip. But overall, with the syndicate lackeys, you're right. But overall, I think that it's a 2 out of 5 just because I think it belongs in the deck that it was made for, and I don't know if it fits anywhere else just yet. Yeah. Speaking of belongs in the deck it's made for, you know what's awesome about Boba Fett? His look, his iconic armor.
Yeah. Boba's armor.
Notably, again, just a rare, not a legendary.
This is a 2-cost neutral yellow. So if you're running yellow, you can run in Hero Boba. If you're running Villain Boba, you can just run it. It is attached to a non-vehicle unit because
you can't think my cargo hauler ain't wearing no Boba's armor.
If attached unit is Boba Fett and damage would be dealt to him, prevent 2 of that damage. Also, get +2/+2.
This is a legendary item. Firstly, sorry, not legendary. So this is a it's a unique item. It's a rare. Sorry. Firstly, I got my wish.
You did. Do you regret it yet?
Cards specific to. I thought they released stuff for inset. I don't want to see none of this. I mean, I definitely do.
I definitely do.
So
it's really cool.
But no, genuinely, when
the
this card,
art of this, what the hell?
But he's just taking shots. He's the Terminator, man. I'm just honestly, this card is definitely as powerful as you think it is. I'm just really happy that we're getting upgrades specific to like unique names. I think that's really cool.
It would be one thing to have this as a whenever this unit is attacked. Or like when it's dealt combat damage, it reduces it by 2. But I go
attack
force choke, and you go awesome. I'll take 3 damage.
Open
and draw
fire,
a card.
I take 2. Overwhelming barrage, I take 2 less. Bombing run, I take 1. I swing my Vader, no damage from the ping.
It might not seem like a lot, and there might be some of you being like, it's only 2 damage. It's not too bad. There are whole mechanics in other games that are just like this unit takes 1 less damage from stuff. Like I've played with it a few times, and it's just such a
I think honestly,
prominent ability.
We've talked too much about breakpoints in this game to know that this is an incredibly good ability.
It's crazy.
It's great that it is locked to specifically Boba Fett. I really respect them for making it neutral.
Can you imagine if this is just a 2-cost? Like, put it on anyone?
Gross. It's good that this is locked to Boba. A character we know is popular. B, a character we know is definitely getting more renditions in the future. It's good that this is color locked, so that if we get future Boba Fett leaders, it's not just like, here's 5 yellow Boba Fetts, you can always run this. It's, here's the red Boba, and the blue Boba, and the green Boba.
It's like, you can run yellow and run this.
But
or you can pay 4 for it, which I'm not saying don't do.
Overall, this is great if you're running yellow-green Boba Fett with the new hero leader. That's actually pretty sweet. We know yellow-green hero is really great because of Han. And then just being able to like flip him, put this on him, he becomes a huge body, buffs the board, takes less damage, using reinforcements, get all your guys with keywords out. Suddenly you're having a huge party and your opponent can't get rid of your leader because, would you look at that, his armor's just so cool.
And there's something very thing about like buffing up a leader with upgrades is so much more powerful than buffing up a unit with upgrades.
This is also
because of the fact that there is no Waylay, there is no Vanquish.
We should just talk about it. This is a huge buff to the Boba villain deck. The 3-cost Boba unit loves this card. The leader loves this more. I flip my leader. I ambush in my Steadfast Battalion and kill something. I swing with my leader to untap 2. I pay 2. I put this on it. That's the turn.
It's wild.
That's the turn. That's gross.
Boba's not going anywhere.
Which is good though. Like,
absolutely.
I love that they're still keeping set 1 leaders relevant. But oh my god, this card's a 4.5 out of 5, guys. The only reason it's 0.5 less is because it is specified and locked to a character. The reason it's so high is because that deck and character just so happen to be really cool and really good. Next up, we've got the last starter, the last special rarity card for the Mandalorian hero side of the deck.
Exclusives.
Yes. It's Grief Karga. You know him, you love him, and some of his favorite people are bounty hunters. This is a 2-cost Heroism 2/2 Fringe official. When played, top 5 cards of your deck, reveal an upgrade, draw it, put it in your hand. Pretty cool.
It's something that's...
So we kind of expected this.
Yeah, it goes in the deck.
Yeah.
It's they're like this is the way.
This is the way?
This is the way.
This is the way.
And this go hand in hand as those kind of like things for that
This is just nice to have
Mandalorian
a
deck.
body.
Yeah,
It's just nice to get a body on the field.
This is just Mon Mothma for the Mandalorian.
Exactly.
Deck.
It feels similar to how the Tarkin deck feels. How the 4-cost Tarkin felt, but as we stated when that card was revealed, a bit too high cost for his ability. And then, as you'll see here, difference to Mon Mothma is he's got 1 less health point, but 1 more attack point, so he trades a little bit better. So, all in all, a pretty interesting card. I'm definitely going to give him a 2.5 out of 5 because I think that he fits really well in the deck that he's made for. I think that he might show up a little bit later, but I think that, it really depends on what you're after. Criminal Muscle. Hello. Do you like Waylay?
Yes.
What if you had a 1-cost neutral cunning underworld 2/1 that when you played it, you may return a non-unique upgrade to its owner's hand. Rough that you can't get rid of Boba's armor.
Non-unique.
But
this is getting rid of bounties.
Yeah.
It's saying I pay 2, I put prices on your head. I say I pay 1.
Get that out of here, please. It's also nice just in like one of those things where, I put entrenched on my clan challenges and I'm beating you up a bunch, and then you go pay 1, clan criminal muscle, bounce the entrenched. It's not got the 3 health remaining anymore. It's dead now, and I no longer have to worry about that.
Yeah.
So it's a neat card. It's definitely something I expected to see. My favorite part of this card is behind the Rodin. You can see a small pouting alien, and I think he looks really funny.
Also, that gets you back that entrenched back into your hand to use on another target. Like, that's actually a really good,
it's
kind of interesting use for it.
It's versatile for being able to get upgrades you want, like, and especially upgrades that have when played.
Just zoomed in on I did not notice that.
Yeah, there's a little guy. Please stop. It's also really good to swap the upgrades that have good when played abilities. There's one coming up that has a wacky when played ability, and being able to like constantly cycle that back and forth is going to be pretty good. So I do give this. I think this card's actually going to see a pretty decent amount of play, and I actually think it is not a bad sideboard option. So honestly, I'll probably give this card a 3 out of 5. The garbage rollers got to show off our second Jawa.
Boys at the garbage rollers hitting us again with the Jawa.
I love that they keep getting Jawa. It makes me really happy.
Oh, absolutely. Good. Honestly, so happy for them.
Jawas!
You guys deserve it. I hope you guys get a Jawa every single set.
But that means we get a Jawa every set.
I know, right? But
we're already winning if we get a Jawa every set.
Well, they increase the cost by 1 on the Jawa every single time.
This guy's pretty interesting, actually, especially when you consider smuggles in the set. Take it away. Tell us what the Jawa does.
It is a 3-cost neutral yellow. This is Frontier Trader. Here's a 2/2 Fringe Jawa. When played, you may return a resource you control to its owner's hand. If you do, you may put the top card of your deck into play as a resource.
Good to cycle if you smuggle something out. It's kind of like a mini set 1 Lando. Play the Jawa, bounce a card you didn't want to get put into your resources, and replenish it.
This is a safety net for smuggle. This is a safety net to be able to be like, oh, I really needed that. Let's just grab it.
On a little Jawa body. This is pretty good. I definitely see this card being huge and limited, especially with smuggle being such a large mechanic. Being able to be like, I've only pulled my 1-of legendary bomb and it got resourced because of my smuggle.
Yep.
I want to play my Jawa to get it back. I also get a body out of it. Like, that's really nice.
And it's cheap enough that you're happy for that. Like, you're happy with that.
Yeah, for sure. I think this is a good 2.5 out of 5. I really like this card. Tell us about Dr. Pershing, James.
Dr. Pershing
This guy
is
He's experimenting with life, is what
He's
he's doing.
experimenting life. He's a 2-cost vigilance villainy, 0/5 Imperial that says action, tap him, deal 1 damage to a friendly unit, draw a card.
My favorite part about this card is he's the anti-Grogu. He's hero, not villain. They've got the same cost. They're both 0/5s, and they both have tap effects. And he obviously experiments on Grogu.
He can do it himself.
He can.
He can just be like, I'll just tap him, ping 1 to him and draw a card.
Notably, this guy is once again an Imperial. Run him in Krennic. Buff him when he pings himself. Ping stuff around to get the Krennic buff, to draw cards. Run this in the deck with First Light so that you can go, I ping, draw a card, get grit. Or run this in Tarkin. I ping him, draw a card, pay 1, put experience counter on him. We're back, and now he can attack. So this card is pretty solid. Being an Imperial makes him a lot better, but we've already seen a lot of in-set mechanics that benefit from this. Yeah. Notably, grit's going to be a huge part of this set. This guy causes grit. You double benefit. It's just double value because you ping himself and draw a card, suddenly he's got 1 extra power from grit. You ping something else, draw a card, he's got grit.
One of the things I can see this card being absolutely huge in, and it might not be something you think when you think of immediately, Grand Inquisitor. I think Grand Inquisitor is going to absolutely love this card. Grand Inquisitor is someone who thrives on damaging units to get buffs out of them. And Grand Inquisitor is also a deck that thrives on having big hand. It being able to do a lot of stuff on your turn really helps him. And so this is a card that fits him to a T.
On the turn you play Dr. Pershing, you can go tap, ping him, draw a card, tap, untap, tap, ping him, draw a card. You can draw 2 cards. Sorry, not on the turn you play him. But from that point on, you can just keep tapping and untap him.
You can just be like, play him, untap, tap, ping himself, draw a card for 3 damage on him, and draw a card. And then that's just a 2-cost draw card.
Next turn, he's going to tap, draw a card again, and then if your opponent swings into him, he's also kind of acted as a sentinel.
Yeah, this is a card that has so many benefits and is going to be very, very interesting.
I actually think this card's pretty wild. I give it a 3.5 out of 5 because I think it's really good. When the Mandalorian landed on a planet DeLorean, he went to a village DeLorean and met people DeLorean there.
Peasant DeLorean.
And then he showed those peasants the power of sticks. And together they, with heavy arms fire and a former rebel shock trooper, they defeated an AT-ST piloted by what can only be amounted to as
some guy.
Slightly more intelligent raider rabble. But this is Village Protectors. This is a 3-cost Vigilance Hero 2/2 Sentinel Shielded. Hello, Luke Skywalker. Hello, Rose Tycho.
This is actually a really good card. This is actually a card that is really interesting.
This is really good in the for the Gluck decks, which can struggle in the aggro sometimes. This is such a good card to have because we've already got Echo Based Defender, but the problem with that is it usually does get just 1 tapped, and you're trading out something for it, and that's really good. But stopping 2 attacks, potentially 3 if you can shield it again with.
And this is something that I've played with a lot before when I've played my Chewie deck. Playing the Wilderness Survivor tapped, as a Sentinel, and that being really annoying to get through. Add this in, and you just have another Sentinel. It's going to be something that this is definitely going to be a very annoying card for people to deal with.
Plus, again, it's a hero, so if you've got Luke and you've got you've got a dispatcher, you play it turn 2 with the dispatcher, pay 1, put a shield on it, boom, 2/2 Sentinel with 2 shields.
And 4 cores.
True, it triggers 4 cores, I believe it! I like this card, I give it a 3 out of 5. I was right, baby.
This man
I was right,
did
baby.
Not shut up about this card for the last 6 months.
I was like, it's going to be... we saw the artwork for it, and as soon as we saw the art, I was like, it's going to be... Because we saw the art way back in set 1.
Yeah, we saw this art.
And I was like, it's going to be a set 2 leader.
Before set 1 released.
Yeah, and I called it. I was like, it'll be a set 2 leader. And then Smuggle got released, and I was like, Lando's going to be a early flip, yellow hero, Smuggle leader. Boy, do I feel good about this. Firstly, if you know me, I'm a huge Childish Gambino fan, and I'm a huge... Well, I'm Donald Glover, no relation. I love Atlanta. I love Community. I love the Solo movie. I love all of his music. And I just think it's so cool that they released Lando Calrissian from the Solo movie. It's Childish Gambino, Donald Glover, my favorite singer-songwriter in my favorite card game. So Lando is a cunning hero leader. He has action tap, play a card using smuggle. It costs 2 less. Defeat a resource you own and control. That's really cool. Now the own and control part, that's for shenanigans with Death Star DJ, and Traitorous. But the other part is essentially the smuggle will replace itself with the resource, and you essentially have to kill that resource because you're getting it at a reduced cost, which, as we know, the reason the smuggle cost is more is because you're not losing hand advantage from it. In this case, you technically do lose resource advantage, but I'm personally really excited to see what they do with this leader. I've heard a lot of people just be like, he's not great, rah, rah, rah. Fair enough, people. We've only seen a limited pool of cards, and currently Lando probably isn't the best. And I might be huffing copium here when I say this, but boy, you better believe that I'm a big fan of this, and I think he'll get a lot better than you think. He also is our second leader that flips at 4. On his flip side, he's a 4-cost, 2/5, with action, play a card using smuggle. It costs 2 less. Defeat a resource you own and control, and use this ability only once each round. This is not a non-attack. You can use this as an action whenever you want. And just like Lando Calrissian, anyone who plays this leader has impeccable taste.
Yeah, absolutely. This card is really interesting. It's one of those things where it's really going to come down to the smuggle cards on like how much impact they can have, whether it's going to be worth that one resource. And at the moment, it's like, yeah, maybe it's not quite, but we've only seen the kind of baseline like smuggle that's come out. We've only seen those kind of tiny amounts of it.
We've actually only got like 6 or 7 cards.
Yeah. So it's one of those cases where the bulk of it, what this deck is built around, is not out yet. And I would love to see some stuff where it is when this is defeated from your energy, from your resources. Do this. It would be a really interesting way to kind of balance that out.
I think it'd be really cool if we get a card that's like when it's defeated from your resources, you can play it without paying its cost. Even if it's just like a 2/2 for 2. Like, that would be so good in this deck.
Yeah, because you just resource it, and then you'd be able to play something for cheaper, and then flip that, and then play that as well. And it's just something that could be really snowballing.
Notably
really
as
cool.
well, L337 is a 4-cost smuggle. If you use Lando, she becomes a 2-cost smuggle, which is the same as her cost. So you essentially just get to play her for totally free. Now, again, I know that sacrificing a resource, I will be realistic, is a pretty steep price. But I think it'd be really cool if we get... I think this card's going to work really well if we get a legendary that is decent, has a pretty good stat line, and then when it's played with Smuggle, you also get to play a resource.
Yeah, I think there's something that's coming with this,
right?
For
sure.
There's some.
For
not
sure.
like it's like this doesn't. There's something off about this where it doesn't quite feel.
But we've had leaders like that before, and then they release
exactly.
the things that came out, and it was like,
coming, and
awesome.
I think that's one of those things where we got to trust it. Like we do trust.
I trust.
And this deck is going to have those like not every deck is fantastic, and not every leader is fantastic, but they all have a reason. Like Han Solo has that interaction with Falcon where you can pay for it before you destroy it. It has those reasonings behind what's going on.
Leaders like this strike me like Han, where initially we didn't think Han was that good. A lot of people in the community were like, oh, resourcing a card from here is pretty steep. Like, now Han is one of the best decks in the game.
Yeah, I think this is there's a deck to be cracked.
You just gotta find your niche.
And I think it's going to be really interesting when it does.
I love this guy. I absolutely love Childish Gambino, and you better bloody believe that my biases are coming in here when I say that this man is a 4 out of 5, soon to be 5 out of 5 when he gets his legendary. You just watch. And my God, his showcase is going to be gorgeous. Next up, we've got a couple of cards that were released to coincide with Lando. Pretty stock standard stuff, nothing really actually that crazy. So we've got Smuggler's Aid. This is a 1-cost hero.
This is the repair you have at home.
Event, yeah, literally is pay 1, heal 3 damage from your base. It's repair, except you can't heal a unit. But on the flip side of that, it's got Smuggle for 3 hero. So run it in Lando, costs the same thing. Pretty nice. I actually like this card. It's pretty clutch. This is a really good sideboard card in the Lando.
I think this is actually just like quite a good card
Sideboard
in general,
card,
just a resource and be like, if I need
it, I can
if I
pay
need to
three and
pay
just, like,
3
heal
for
three.
it, then I will, but
Yeah.
I can just resource it and not really worry about it.
It's again, well, I like it in Lando because you can be like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna tap this as the resource and then sack this resource and it just heal 3. It's good in the aggro. Next up, obviously, the Millennium Falcon, Lando's Pride. This is definitely not as good as OG Falcon. That was honestly probably going to be the case.
No.
This is an uncommon. OG Falcon is our legendary. This is a 6-cost heroic cunning card. It's a 5/5 underworld vehicle transport. If you play this card from your hand, it gains ambush. Pretty nice. And then its smuggle cost is the exact same as 6. Cunning hero.
It's one of those things where the big thing about this card is you're smuggling it for the same... Like, if you're playing it, it's good. It's all right. If you're smuggling it, you're not losing that hand advantage and you're getting the same value.
And if you're using Lando, you're getting a 4-cost 5/5. So I would say Smuggler's Aid and this Falcon, I would probably give them both a 2.5 out of 5. They probably they sit in the same space for me. Oh my god. We're here? Did you guys know that bounty hunting is a complicated profession? Because the client does.
The client is a 3-cost vigilance
Oh my god.
villainy 2/5
And that's it, right?
imperial official
Oh, well, those are really good taglines.
with shielded
Yeah, but that's it, right?
and action. Tap him.
No.
Choose a unit.
No.
For this phase, it gains bounty, heal
No.
5 damage from a base.
Bring, 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 bring. Hello, Bosk speaking. Why, heal 10? Why, I certainly would love to. Every turn, you say? Splendid. I'll be over in 5.
I'll be over in 10. Actually.
I'll be over in 5 out of 5 on the Spiceometer.
Jeez. This color's, it's nuts.
What is this?
Why is it shielded?
I think that the fact that I can run this in blue-green Palp as an official to trigger Emperor's Royal Guard, run it in Moff Gideon, it's a 3-cost, I can attack with shielded with Emperor's Royal Guard, run it in Moff Gideon, I run it in Moff Tarkin as a 2/5 shielded, buff him, and then you're getting added benefits, run him in Bosk to heal 10 every turn. Bounty on a stick without having to pay resources. Yabba dabba doo.
Or hand.
So I think the biggest thing with this card is Bib Fortuna costs 2 for a 1/3 with shielded. This guy costs 1 more and has 3 extra stat points.
Yep. And a cooked ability.
I heard you liked Sabine. And to that I say, heal 5, lol. Like, there's no, like, oh my gosh. I've got K2SO right here, and he's going to do tap him, and when K2 dies, I heal 5? Oh, but, I meant to deal 3. Yes, okay, yep. Well, you've got a Sentinel. Oh, I know. I'll Rebel Assault and I'll attack with these, so I'll clear the Sentinel. I got you to take down K2. Yeah. Oh, well, you take 3. I actually heal 2.
It's a good card. It does good things.
Wah. 5 out of 5, baby. 5 out of 5.
5 out of 5.
5 out of 5.
Moving on.
It's Quill. Quill. I have spoken. That's what he says.
This is a 2-cost hero vigilance, and that is a 2/3 fringe. He has restore 1, and on attack, discard a card. If it's the same color as your base, you may
Discard a card from your deck.
From your deck. Yeah.
So you mill 1. If it's the same color as your base, you add it to your hand. So Arc 170 on the ground and can potentially draw you cards. It's in mono blue.
This is a card that goes with mono blue. This is a card where you're spending like 90% of your deck is blue. Maybe you have a couple hero cards, and this is just a 2/3 restore 1 draw a card, which is honestly fantastic. It's actually genuinely really good in that specific.
Having an Arc 170 is already good in Luke. having Arc 170 on the ground that draws you cards in Luke. Can't really argue with it. I initially saw this card and was like, why does this guy suck? And then James was like, he doesn't. He's actually really good in mono blue. I personally wouldn't really run him in any other decks just because of the variance of potentially... Because at that point, in the monocolor deck, you've already got a few times where you might hit a mono hero card, and realistically, it's probably not going to be a big deal when that happens.
But it's also a replacement for C3PO, right? It's just like if you're going to be running C3PO in it, you may as well be running this because you're probably hitting more often.
He's got Restore and he's got a better offensive ability, but you're going to be hitting more often. And then like on the off chance that you hit a hero card, it's not a big deal. But in a deck that runs like 3 colors, you could be hitting a mono villain, a mono hero, mono whatever else you've got, or the blue. It's just not worth the variance of missing that. So, although this is definitely a great buff for mono blue, so I definitely think Queel is a 3 out of 5. I also really like the character quite a lot. My gosh, do we have just like a block of absolute wacky cards?
This is all the starter deck stuff that's coming through. There was a stream the other week that showed off the starter decks in their entirety. That's where we got those 2 bases from that you saw.
Yep.
And
showed off the Moff Gideon Mando, and we've just got like what's
we
left.
have the full deck lists now, and we have the full things. Stay tuned as soon as we reach the end of this store showdown period, and we have some time. You're going to be starting to see those gameplays come through. Obviously, we're going to be starting that off with those starter deck battles, which is just going to be happening in probably another 2 weeks or so.
I am Moff Gideon in that episode. Because you have something I want.
And I'll be playing Vambrace Grapple Shot.
This card's so cool.
This is a 2-cost neutral blue upgrade attached to a non-vehicle unit. Attached unit gains on attack, exhaust the defender. It is giving him +2/+2. It is an item, weapon,
and armor. Awesome.
Yeah, this is really cool. This is something that's going to be really, really cool to play on a few different things for a few different reasons. You pointed out a really cool one that I was that before, where you can put this on the Boba unit, the legendary, and if you swing into something, if it's like...
He becomes a 4/7. He becomes the same stats... a 5/7. He becomes 1 stat better than the original Boba leader, and he taps something when it attacks to ping it. So you, this, if you have this on the Boba and your opponent flips their leader should be considered dead. Because he can do 8 damage.
You swing into it, deal 3, and then
he can one-shot Vader.
He can one-shot Vader. Yep.
He can one-shot
Which is a very, very good card on there.
And live. But even outside of that, let's just look at it contained in the deck that it comes in. I'm going to put this on the Mandalorian. I'm going to tap that down. My leader is now a 6/9. Awesome. I'm going to attack. I'm going to tap that down. I'm going to kill it. Yep. I'm just going to take that value, please. I'm just going to tap all this stuff down. It's so cool. And then just set 1's upgrades were definitely the baseline. And it's so exciting to see these really awesome upgrades, frankly. I love this card. I think it's really cool. I'm going to give this one a 3 out of 5. Oh my gosh. This next card is wild.
The Outland TIE Vanguard. It's a group of fellas, but ties this time.
It is a 2-cost green villain classic. They needed more stuff, actually. Did you know? It is a 2/1. That's that TIE Fighter stat line, baby. It is an Imperial vehicle fighter. When played, you may give an experience token to another unit that costs 3 or less. Bring, 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 bring. Hello, Tarkin speaking. More buffs to my troopers? Why, yes, certainly. I'll hold. This is awesome in Tarkin Troopers.
It's really, really good in Tarkin Troopers.
Worst case scenario, very, very worst case scenario, this is a TIE fighter.
Yep.
Best case scenario, it's your turn 2 play to buff up something. You've still got 1 resource left, so you can use your Tarkin ability to buff up your turn 1 play. Yep. You'll put 2 experience counters. And if you have one of the cards we're going to talk about coming up, ew, icky, gross, icky.
It's real good.
I think this, legitimately, the fact that this is green, low-costed, villain, and Imperial,
It's designed for Tarkin and Moff,
it's
obviously.
It's made for Tarkin and Moff Gideon and, any other deck that's running, early early game little fellas. But to me, this card just screams Tarkin. I give this card a 3 out of 5. I think it's really great. I think it's really great. I just think, again, it is one of those cards that belongs in certain decks, but is a shiner in the decks that it belongs in. This card's
an interesting
so
one.
cool. I love the art of this card because
Really nice
it's got
art,
Death Troopers, and I love Death Troopers. But it's pretty
This
cool.
one is Remnant Reserves. It's supply. It is a 4-cost command of villainy.
Oh, they needed more stuff.
They did need more stuff. You search the top 5 cards of your deck. For 3 units, reveal them, draw them.
This is great because we know that the Tarkin matchup can struggle into decks like Iden and can lose advantage in the late game. This, for me personally, takes out the 4-cost Tarkin 2/3, and you put this in instead because you're getting 3 units to your hand. They don't just have to be Imperials, whereas some decks, might slot in non-Imperials just for here and there for the support, like Consortium Star Vipers and things like that. So you can add them to your hand. I think this is a really great sideboard card. I think it's genuinely really cool. Another supply is super great. But both of these cards, this one and the previous one we talked about, they work really well in Palpatine.
Yeah.
So I think I give this card a 2.5 out of 5 because I think that it's a great sideboard card. I think that's a decent choice if you don't have a lot of other options. But it's one of those cards that I probably wouldn't run straight away in my deck unless I'm going for a more slower option. But it's definitely a sideboard card I'd heavily choose.
Speaking of 2 out of 5s, this is a 1-cost command 2/2.
1 out of 5.
Yeah, 1 out of 5.
This card is a card that is designed for draft.
This is filling out decks.
Yep, filling out decks, filling out the draft pool. It's a decent unit. It's a 1-cost. It's good. Hey, run it in your IG-88 decks. But yep, nothing much more to say about this 1-cost 2/2 Trooper.
Yep.
So 1 out of 5. This card's kind of interesting.
It's really interesting.
Yeah, I kind of like this. So it's a 4-cost 3/3. This is a Kirax heavy fighter. It has Overwhelm, and on attack you may exhaust another friendly unit, and if you do, this unit gets +3/+0 for this attack.
It's actually, I think, really good. I think this is
it's a
one of those.
4-cost 6/3.
It's one of those things where it's like, oh, I'm gonna tap my
My Warzone Lieutenant, which only does 2 damage.
or I can just say, awesome, I'm gonna tap down this Death Star Stormtrooper and just essentially add his attack to this 1 attack. And
I get to
essentially
attack with 2 units.
2 units. And there's no other way to attack with 2 units.
Should be silly. But this also has Overwhelm. So like, if your opponent has a Bright Hope, be like, lol, get wrecked nerd, swing, kill it.
It's real good.
I
think this is a really good card, and I think this ability of like tapping down other units to get buffs is a really cool mechanic.
On a green neutral space unit, I really like it. So I think this is a 3 out of 5 for that one. This is a cool card. This is like an interesting card. This is Discerning Veteran. It's a 5-cost command 3/4 bounty hunter. With when played, this unit captures an enemy non-leader ground unit. 5 is a lot.
I think it's a little bit understated for what I want it to like.
It is a common, and I think this is for draft.
Yeah, this is a card that in draft is going to be able to be like, get rid of that threat for a little while, maybe get a bit of damage in, and it's you want to like, this is a card you're happy to have this in draft. You're happy to grab this in draft. You're happy to play this in draft. In constructed, there's just a little bit too much stuff that can take it out really easily. But at the end of the day, not all cards are going to be designed to be in the top end decks. They are going to be designed to get those drafts, fill out those decks. Yeah. And this is a card that does that really well, and is a card that I'm going to have in my draft deck.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's pretty fine. I think it's a 2 out of 5. This next card's an interesting one.
One of the rares in the starter deck, which is obviously 2, that both of them have 2 rares each.
I like the art with a New Republic X-Wings and a Nabooian fighter. But yeah, Legal Authority.
This is a 2-cost law. Land down the law.
That's our second law.
It is our second law.
Confiscates our first.
When played, attached unit captures an enemy non-leader unit with less power than it. This is something where it's +0/+2, so you're gaining a little bit of health to be a little bit more thing. Put this on the Discerning Veteran we just had before. Suddenly it's a 3/6 that's capturing 2 units. It has its uses, and I think there's a lot of stuff that's going to be really interesting with it. I think in like a green Mandalorian deck, it's going to be really useful where you can just kind of put it on the Mandalorian. He captures something, like you put a
the
Mandalorian rifle,
put that
capture
on it.
something,
Put that on him again.
legal authority, play another legal authority, and he's suddenly got so much health and he's captured so many units, it's kind of starts to get a little bit tough to get.
He can bring warm, he can bring in cold. This is the way.
This is the way.
I think, again, this is a pretty interesting card. I like this. I like the fact that you can put this on ships and capture ground units, which I think is honestly really sweet.
Yeah, I think it's something that definitely is going to be.
Like, imagine just being like, man, that's a really good card. Pay to put this on Devastator.
Yeah, I think this is one of those cards that really tells us what the capture mechanic can do in a situation where we have two zones that can't interact with each other very often, and capture mostly has been able to cross zones so far.
Yes,
and I think that's something that's actually a key point to capture that we need to keep our eyes on, because if you are going that
key point to capture.
Yeah,
he said the line.
If you're able to kind of go more of a space route and then just start capturing all their ground units.
Speaking of space routes, check out this week's gameplay. I give this card a 3 out of 5. I think it's pretty interesting. I think it's probably going to be more versatile than people initially think.
Oh my god, a way to attack with 2 units. Who could have seen this coming?
It's a common. 1 cost green, so 1 cost command, tactic, attack with 2 units, 1 at a time. This is Leia's ability, but it doesn't need rebels.
Yeah, exactly.
And it costs
this
1.
This is Rebel Assault, but you don't get the +1/+1, but it isn't locked to rebels, and it's not hero. This is fantastic.
Target troopers, baby! Target troopers, baby!
We know this is a fantastic
Just like
ability.
any
We
green
know
deck.
this is worth it for 1 easily.
This
is a fantastic green card to go in
you're
any
a green non-hero aggro deck or a green non-rebel aggro deck. This is solid. I can definitely see this being run in the future, because I think that next set, likely clones will fall into red and green.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I think that if that is the case, or even blue and green, and if that's the case, running outflank in my Captain Rex deck, running in my Hunter deck, like just being able to be like attack with Hunter, attack with Hunter, attack with Wrecker, and just like punch you for 10.
Yeah, it'll be really interesting to see what the green villainy leaders are this set.
Well, good thing that we don't have any of those to run through. But I actually give this card a 4 out of 5. I think this is wild. Traitor! Bah! This is TR8R FN2187.
It's not actually.
That's
that was a fan
that's
thing.
Finn. That's Finn. What's this guy's name?
I can't remember. It's not TR8. That went around for so long.
And it's not FN2187 because that's Finn.
Yes.
This FN was actually this guy. Just a little bit of lore for you. Back in Destiny, was a menace.
Absolute menace.
He was a meta. This is a meta character back. Like for those of you out there who are like, what are they talking about? If you look him up, there was a deck going around which was Kylo FN, and Baby Vader FN. Bringing you back to the glory days for those of you who might remember. But moment of glory. This is kind of like what's our other one? The tactic.
Something advantage.
Tactical advantage.
Is it tactical?
This
advantage?
is just like a tactical advantage. It costs 1 more, but you get an extra plus 2
more.
plus 2.
The other one's 1 cost.
Oh, sorry. It costs 2 more, and you get an extra +1/+1 for each extra cost.
Yeah, so that's pretty normal. That's fairly standard. Like being +4/+4 is nothing to scoff at, and it's actually something that I prefer over that kind of lower cost.
I like it in decks like Chirrut. Because it's interesting, the psychology of going, Chirrut gets +4/+4 this turn, and then your opponent just, for whatever reason, might go, well, it's not worth it anymore. And they don't stack damage on the Chirrut. They start putting in other play, and then suddenly you're like, okay, Chirrut can live. But also just like, I have Sentinel. +4/+4.
Yeah.
I think this card's pretty good. I think it kind of sits where Tactical Advantage sits. Decent draft card.
I would say it's above Tactical Advantage personally, but...
Another juicy 2 out of 5.
Oh my god.
Yeah, baby. Bring. Hello, Tarkin speaking. I'm off hold now. What's that? Flamethrowers?
Han Solo?
Why, yes, I'll hire Incinerator Marine. This is a 2 cost neutral villainy, 2/2 Imperial Trooper. Let's go keywords.
Doesn't seem so bad. It seems kind of mid so far.
That's not
It's a
great.
2-cost 2/2.
This is the worst Snowtrooper Lieutenant unless that we take the card text of Han Solo and put it on him.
They just slap it on here.
While attacking, this unit deals combat damage before the defender. Oh my god, are you going turn 1? Gross! You play this in Tarkin, and you can just keep buffing it. You play this in Moff, and the first thing you can do is take out a 3 health with it. You play this in Tarkin, and you play a Snowtrooper Lieutenant the next turn, and just straight up kill something with 4 health. This guy's wacky. If this was out in set 1, James said this to me before the video started. If this was out in set 1, Tarkin would be a tier 1 deck. Because it's already around tier 2, tier 1.5. Like, it wins games.
This is a card that is just so good at just being able to be like, trade.
Which is great because that deck needed something that could just unmitigated trade into late game Sentinels with no worries, so that you can then, like, just this guy with outflank. Just being able to be like, pay 1, outflank him, kill that, swing into your base with this, like,
absolutely. This card is
little
really,
5 out
really
of 5,
cool.
guys. And it's a starter exclusive. This is the last starter exclusive for the Moff Gideon
It's a
deck.
starter exclusive.
Yeah, it's a special.
Guys, buy the starter deck.
Oh, this set. Like, obviously buy the starter deck set 1. For sure buy the starter deck set 2.
I did not realize this was a starter
that's
exclusive.
one of the starter exclusives. That was
That
the
is
last,
such a
that's
good
the
starter
yeah.
exclusive.
It's if you want to play Imperials, if you want to play Villain.
Oh, it means we're going to get hyperspaces in the weekly play as well.
It's gonna see. I love Stormtroopers with red armor. I play Star Wars Shatterpoint. I painted my Stormtroopers to look like Shock Troopers from Battlefront, the original Battlefront. So I just love when they've got red. But these guys are 5 out of 5. Next up was Duchess Satine. Duchess Satine related.
Protector of the Throne is a 3-cost mono heroism. 2/4 Mandalorian with when this unit is upgraded, it gains scent.
We've seen similar abilities to this in the past, but not on a 3-cost, not with a decent body, and not with, frankly, a really valuable keyword of Mandalorian.
Yeah,
these guys are the guards that guard Satine and whoever is currently like the representative of Mandalore at that time. These guys are awesome. Put entrenched on it. Lol. Put Mandalorian's armor on them, which we'll talk about in a second. But this card is actually really solid. Like, even just putting Resilient on it and making it a 2/7 Sentinel.
Yeah,
is, like,
absolutely.
nice.
This card is really, really cool.
I definitely give this guy a 3 out of 5. I think he's really good in the Mandalorian deck.
Speaking of more about this, is we're going into the Mandalorian starter deck. We got some cool stuff. Obviously, it's yellow-blue. We have a lot of blue Mandalorians coming through, and we're starting off with Survivor's Gauntlet.
This is a ship.
There's a ship. It is a 5. Excuse me. It is a 5-cost vigilance neutral 4/6.
Mandalorian vehicle transport with when played and on attack.
We always love a when played and on attack.
Yeah, these guys are the best. These guys are so much fun at parties. But you may attach an upgrade on a unit to another eligible unit controlled by the same player. Very wordy, but it boils down to you may move an upgrade to another unit.
Which you might think, oh yeah, awesome, I can move my this, I can move my that, I can move my this. You can move shields.
You can move shields, you can move experience counters.
And that just by itself, experience
so
counters,
good.
shields is
so
so interesting.
But hear me out for a second. This is not this is not hero or villain. So, I'm running my villain Mandalorian deck. I've got the what's that 1-cost villain one that like deals 2 damage to a base? The 1-cost villain red upgrade that when it defeats a unit.
Oh, a Ruthlessness.
You put Ruthlessness on a unit, swing, kill something, 2 damage to a base. Swing 4 at their base. Move the Ruthlessness onto a unit that hasn't attacked yet. Swing that unit, kill another unit, 2 damage to base. And you just keep doing that. You can move your entrenched around, you can move your shields around. Like, that's
I think
so
cool. Playing a shielded unit and then playing this to move the shield onto this unit is something that's going to be really cool. I think
we talked about her last week. I'm pretty sure. I think she was last week. The Armorer.
Yeah,
Yes.
being able to put 3 shields down on things.
And then just start moving them around is like
Fantastic.
It's so cool. This card's really rad. 5 is a bit much, but it does have an immediate effect, which naturally makes
And
it a
a
lot
decent space stat line.
better. 3 out of 5. I really like this card. So I'm getting with this release, I'm all on board for Imperials for the Empire, but I'm also super on board for the cool Mandalorian hero stuff we're getting. Like I definitely think like Bo-Katan or Sabine Mandalorian's looking really cool. This is Clan Ren Rescuer.
This is a 2-cost vigilance, heroism, 1/2 Mandalorian trooper. You might be saying, well, 1/2, that's a pretty small stat line. When played, give an experience token to a unit. So you can play this and just be like, cool, he's upgraded, he's a 2/3. He's just a 2-cost 2/3 to run as a turn 1 play. Or he's a 2-cost and just buff another unit and activate their upgraded.
I love that this is so versatile.
Mm-hmm.
I think this is so cool.
That's the key thing about this, versatility. It is so versatile.
Triggers for a cause I believe in. Like, I know we say it, but I've genuinely built a Sabine Hero Mandalorian deck, and you would genuinely be surprised that I only have 10 non-hero cards in that deck. And I have a large amount of... the majority of that deck is Mandalorian. So these cards are really cool, and it's shaping up to be like a really fun deck. So I definitely give this guy a 3 out of 5. Also, I just like that he synergizes with the clan that Sabine is from.
Genuinely one of my favorite cards thematically that we've seen so far.
The art's so nice too.
The art is so nice too. This is Foundling. This is a 1-cost upgrade, a vigilance upgrade. It is attached unit gains Mandalorian and +1/+1. This is fantastic.
This is the way.
This is so the way. And it's one of those things where it's just like the Foundling, the giving it the upgrades, make it Mandalorian, so all this stuff now affects it.
This is so cool in draft.
Put this on Grogu and just be like, what are you going to do? Like, come on.
He's thematic. He's a 1/6. He's a Mandalorian now. This is actually genuinely really good in draft. Because there's going to be so many Mandalorian synergies who love upgrades. So you get a 1-cost 1 upgrade that gives +1/+1. You either put it on a Mandalorian and get a great synergy for an upgrade, or you put it on something that isn't a Mandalorian, make it a Mandalorian. It's got a buff. It's upgraded. All your Mandalorians trigger off of it. Mandalorian. This is the way.
This is the way.
This is the way. I do give this card a 3 out of 5. I think it's really interesting. I think it's not to be underestimated in draft.
Speaking of Mandalorians being Mandalorians and things you can put on Mandalorians.
Gosh, this card's so good.
This is Mandalorian armor. It's a 2-cost upgrade vigilance. Guard vigilance has a lot of upgrades now. And it's going to be absolutely nuts going forward. When played, if attached unit is a Mandalorian, give a shield token to it. It gives +1/+3. And by God, do I want to build a Chewie deck and make him a Mandalorian and put this on him. That would be hilarious to me. I want to make a mono blue Chewie deck that puts Foundling on Chewie and gives him Mandalorian armor.
This is the way.
This is the way.
And you can pay 2 with This is the way to get Foundling
and Mandalorian armor.
Sabine Wren.
I was having fun.
I'd like to pay 2 and make Sabine a 3/8 on turn 4 with the shield and 2 resources still remaining. Put a Luke's lightsaber on it. Make her a 7/9 shielded. 7 from the 1 ping. And that's your turn 4. What? That's better than Vader. And Vader comes out in 3 more turns.
Upgrades. We knew there were going to be a lot of upgrades.
Gosh.
We knew there were going to be a lot of good upgrades.
Cool. This is so cool.
It's so cool.
Follower of the Way. Boom. Like +2/+4 and a shield. Clan Ren Skirmisher or whatever it's called. Clan Ren Rescuer. Boom. Another one. The clan challenges. Boom. Like, just keep putting this card on him. Play your hired muscle. Play your underworld muscle. Bounce it back to your hand and play it again to get that shield again. Then play them armor and put those shields over, and then swing with your survivor's gauntlet to move those shields around. And the Mandalorians are here, and this is the way. This is a 5 out of 5. Can you believe how many we've had this episode? Like, it's been 3 or 4 because there is no way this card's not good. And the way, if you're sitting there at home going, but it's, it's not that good, it's Mandalorian. What if this said Rebel? What if we got this in set 1 and it said Rebel? Can you imagine?
Yeah, nutty.
So, 5 out of 5, ladies and gentlemen. Just get with it.
We talk about grey cards this set.
What are they doing? This set's just so good.
This is a generic Mandalorian warrior.
Mandalorian?
Mandalorian. 3 cost, 3/3 Mandalorian.
Yes!
When played, give an XP counter to another Mandalorian.
Okay, so not only is it a unit that has an aggressive stat line for its cost, but it gets to buff another Mandalorian when it comes in. Turn 1, follower of the way. Turn 2, this. Put the counter on the follower of the way. It buffs it by +2/+2.
You have a 3/4 and a 3/3.
3/5.
3/5 and a 3/3.
3/5 and a 3/3. On turn 2.
Absolutely.
That's so good.
This is such a cool card, and this is a card that synergizes so well with Mandalorians, and it's just a grey card. Like, yes, please, thank you.
It's so
You're
good.
welcome.
And then, if you want to, you can pay 2, and you can make it a 4/6 shielded. Ooh, this is so cool. Why is this so cool?
It's so
3
cool.
out of 5. This card's nuts for a great card. Notably as well, I just want to go through it. Both of those sets, Star decks actually do have a few reprints from set 1.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing to hammer home about. Probably what you'd expect. Cell block guards, resilience, snapshot reflexes, all that kind of good stuff. Now this card, this is one we can just go through really quickly. This is a Hawk 290 freighter. It's a 3 cost, vigilance, 2/5, no abilities, vehicle transport. It's a common, pretty straightforward.
It's a nice space unit.
Once again, it's a decent survivable space unit that you can run and draft. So, I give this guy a 1 out of 5. Pretty straightforward. Nothing to write home about. Ooh, Blue Bosk. We were talking about it earlier.
Every bounty is just about Bosk. It's not
mean,
about
like,
the bounty
but,
anymore.
can you imagine giving Bosk 2 shields?
I can, I don't want to.
Well, you're gonna have to because Public Enemy is here.
0 cost, vigilance, attached unit gains bounty, give a shield to a token to the unit, to a unit. Fantastic.
Yep.
Cool. Yep. This is. Yeah.
I like the artwork too. This is from the best season of Star Wars Rebels, Season 3, where they've just arrived back on Lothal and Ezra is looking at the wanted posters of himself and the crew. So shout out to my favorite characters. But yes, honestly, man, Blue Red Bosk has got legs.
Oh, yeah.
Like, you're healing, like,
It's
on
got,
average, like 5 from your base. If you want to, you can get shields.
It's like got deadlifter legs.
Yeah.
Like,
Man
it's
hits leg
like you know the stomp that like bodybuilders do?
Yeah.
It's like full muscle. That's the legs Blue Bosk has right now.
I think Public Enemy is really good as well. I'm going to give it a 3 out of 5 because I just think bounties are so solid.
Yeah.
Yo, do you like Takedown?
I do.
What if Takedown was evil and reversed?
It's still neutral.
It's Fell the Dragon.
4 cost neutral blue event. It says defeat a non-leader unit with 5 or more power.
So you can't defeat leader units unlike Takedown, but you can pay for and kill a Devastator.
Yeah.
Pay for and kill an Avenger.
Yeah.
Like,
Sure can.
this is great for those decks that want to be able to be more mid-rangey and play against Iden. And yes, the argument can be made, but it could just be running Iden. But yeah,
I can do this already.
the
It's not actually...
the tools are needed for other decks. So this is a cool card. I like it as a sideboard card. It's when the Mandalorian kills the Crate Dragon, which is our first... it's our actual first on-screen appearance of a Crate Dragon in canon. And frankly, really cool. Crate Dragons were in canon because we saw the skeleton of one in A New Hope. And the howl that Obi-Wan Kenobi does is supposed to be a Crate Dragon howl. So technically they were in the canon, but this is our first time seeing one. So that's really cool. I give this card a 2.5 out of 5. I think it's a great sideboard card. Definitely a good control piece.
Grey cards, grey cards, grey
Bosk
cards.
Bosk cards, Bosk cards.
This is a grey 1 cost upgrade rich reward. It is attached to unit gains bounty. A given experience token to each of up to 2 units.
So if you've got Bosk, you can give experience counters to 4 units, or you can give plus 2 plus 2
units.
Yeah. You can double wing leader
for 1.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it.
Man, these grey cards are like so good. We've got essentially what amounts to a better started wing leader for Mandalorians, and just an awesomely generic. Like if you're running a bounty-centric deck, you're running this.
Absolutely.
Like, why would you not get
Even if
the-
you're
spread
not
the
running
love?
a bounty-centric
Yeah,
deck,
if you're running a removal deck, you run this because then
a
you're
lot
able to
of
get, like,
things
a lot of
use
buff.
this. Will use this.
This is a
So,
deck you run this
like-
in the grit decks because you're gonna
Yeah.
get passive buffs. It helps restore things. This is just great. Like, this card is genuinely a 4 out of 5.
It's so good.
The bases,
You saw them before.
Remnant Science Facility and Remote Village. Oh my gosh, do I love leaders with Smuggle? Oh my gosh, do I love good business?
It's Hondo Onako,
We
baby.
were right about the tagline. I mean,
were
everyone
right.
was right. It was kind of but we did expect him to be a leader.
Did not expect him to be the leader. Did not expect him to be green. Did not expect him to be villainy. But here we are. He is a green villain leader. I suppose he does command those pirates. So it's
He's
fair enough.
He's technically the commander of like a pirate fleet.
So understandable.
Yeah.
He's got some really interesting things that he can do. He is, when you play a card using Smuggle, you may exhaust this leader. If you do, give a experience token to a unit.
It's pretty cool. And then if you control 6 or more resources, deploy this leader.
Yep, he's a 3/7 with raid 1, and when you play unit card Smuggle, you give an experience token.
Notably not limited
unit.
to once per turn.
No.
This is a cool leader. Once again, I think this falls in the same pitfall as Lando, where it depends on the Smuggle cards, but I honestly don't think it's going to be an issue. I really just think there's going to be enough good Smuggle cards for both of them to be at the same power level.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
I mean, yes, Honda's green villain, so it's Overwhelming Barrage. We've probably got a slight edge against Lando, but he doesn't have the style of Mr. Calrissian. This is cool. For those of you out there, though, I want to address the public. Hondo's a villain, guys. Just because he's funny and likable doesn't mean he's not a terrible
Y'all
person.
got rizzed.
Yeah, literally, he
Y'all
kills.
got like fully wool over your eyes. You'd
Do you
go
remember
have
that time he drugged Anakin and Obi-Wan?
You'd go have a drink with Hondo.
And then he drug you and chain you to Count Dooku.
like what?
To
got you.
be fair, I'd have a drink with Hondo. And then he'd drug me and
And
take all
you'd
my
drink
money and then chain me to Count Dooku.
Yeah.
And I'd be like, oh man, this sucks. And he'd be like, double the pride, twice the fall. And I'd be like, you keep saying that. One day you're going to get your hands cut off.
One day.
This is a cool leader, though.
Absolutely. I think I think this is a really interesting leader. I think this is going to be really fun to run. I think there's going to be a lot of really cool stuff.
Also,
I hope we see some of the like pirates come through and they're all Smuggle.
People out there saying this guy's not a pirate, he's just Underworld. People saying that this artwork is not good. Man, this guy's artwork's awesome. It captures how slimy Hondo is. Because remember, guys, Hondo's got a lot of sides to him, and the first time we see Hondo is not like a memorable one. The first time we see Hondo is he is a slimy guy. He invites them in to a slimy, weird place. He's creeping around Obi-Wan and Anakin. He gives them a drink. They get knocked out, and then for the rest of the episode, he's like, I'm just going to sell you to the highest bidder.
Yeah. And also, there's multiple times when he's like, I'll kill the innocent people, I don't care. Also, can we talk about his little pet fucking rat thing?
His little monkey.
Why is it giving me the it's giving me the laser eyes and I love
Salacious B. Crumb's brother. Canon. I like this card quite a lot. I think it's pretty
I think it's
interesting.
going to be really cool.
Flipping at 6 is a bit... he's technically on curve with his stats because of the raid 1. And I think that the reason that he's a 3/7 is because if you flip him, you could smuggle something out on that turn. Let's say a pirate siege tank, which is one of the smuggle cards, which has Sentinel.
Yeah, I think it's one of those things
So
where
it's a 1/1 and then he becomes a 5/8. So it's
7 health is very hard to deal with on a leader. We know that. It's very hard to just get rid of. So it is something where it's pretty, like, even if he's coming out at 6, he's sticking on the board pretty easily.
I give him a 4 out of 5. I think he's pretty on curve with Lando. Next up, we've got Scanning Officer. This is the
indeed.
card that you play when you say, hey, stop smuggling.
Stop smuggling
Stop
all
it.
that stuff. Get out of here. It is a 2 cost 2/3 with when played, reveal 3 of your enemy's resources. Defeat each resource with the smuggle keyword revealed this way. For each resource fitted this way, controller puts the top card in their deck.
Imperial
into play
Official.
as a resource. So this is a card to be like, oh, I think you've stacked your first 2 or 3 cards as smuggle. I'm going to play this. I'm going to get rid of those. so you can't just leave them in
It
there.
actually puts them back exhausted. So if you know your opponent, like if your opponent has a Hondo leader and they put 2 resources down turn 1, and you play this against them turn 1, chances are you're going to destroy both of their ready resources and then put them back as exhausted, essentially destroying their smuggle plan and their whole turn 1 play.
Yeah.
Plus, this is an Imperial official, so it actually has some pretty relevant tags.
This might be one of the best sideboard cards coming
The set. Yeah,
two.
holy crap, yes. If Smuggle's a huge thing, if
Yeah.
Lando gets good, if there's just a bonkers meta-relevant Smuggle card, that's good.
Yeah.
If Hondo gets good, this card just goes in your deck to
Absolutely.
just defeat the card. So honestly, I think this card's keep an eye on it. 2.5 out of 5 right now. Card, the official woman in the artwork looks like Paget Brewster, the actress.
This is the last card. We've reached the end.
Pew 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 pew.
I know we've flown through this pretty quickly, but we've finally
But it's
reached
also
the
been
end
an
of it.
hour. So
Yeah. This is Reckless Gunslinger, a 1-cost aggression 2/1 that says, I'm Sabine and I like to do Sabine things. I'm going to deal 1 damage to each base, and also has a smuggle of 3.
Sabine ability on card.
Sabine ability on card. It's good.
Yeah,
It's
fun.
like it's going to be an interesting thing
It's
to
gonna
like
be
a mountain
cheeky,
ping.
just be like, haha, got ya.
Yeah.
Which a lot of the smuggle cards, like the DL44 is gonna be like that.
Like late game in Sabine, I'll pay 3 for this to ping one more damage that I need to then ping with Sabine to get that last damage in. Like
Use Lando to smuggle out the hotshot DL44 for 1
can do.
to close out a game. Now that
Certainly a move.
that's pretty good.
Pretty good.
That's pretty good. But
That is all we have to talk about today.
wait, I gotta give these cards a review.
Sorry.
I give the Paget Brewster one, I'm pretty sure I said 2.5 out of 5. And I give this one, like a 2 out of 5.
I like the art of it.
What an episode. What an episode. Feels like we got through that quick, but we was still an hour of talking solely about cards.
Yeah.
A lot of 5 out of 5s.
A lot of 5 out of 5s. Check out the gameplay this week. We're only going to be doing best of 1 because we've got a lot to do this week. We have all these spoilers. We have another video coming out. Check that out.
Stay
It's going to
tuned
be
for that.
very, very cool.
It's gonna be alright.
And
Don't expect anything crazy.
we'll see you next week.
Bye.
Bye.